Daniel, Part 1. Daniel taken to Babylon. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim into his hand with some of the vessels of the house of God. Then the king commanded Ashpenaz, his chief eunuch, to bring some of the people of Israel, both of the royal family and of the nobility, youths without blemish, of good appearance and skillful in all wisdom, endowed with knowledge, understanding, learning, and competent to stand in the king's palace, and to teach them the literature and language of the Chaldeans. The king assigned them a daily portion of the food that the king ate and of the wine that he drank. They were to be educated for 3 years. At the end of that time, they were to stand before the king. Among these were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah of the tribe of Judah. And the chief of the eunuchs gave them names. Daniel he called Belteshazzar. Hananiah he called Shadrach. Mishael he called Mikash, and Azariah he called Abednego. Daniel's faithfulness. Then Daniel said to the steward, "Test your stewards for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink." And at the end of 10 days, they were better in appearance and fatter in flesh than all the youths who ate the king's food. So the steward took away their food and the wine that they were to drink, and gave them vegetables. As for these 4 youths, God gave them learning and skill in all literature and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. And the king spoke with them. And among all of them none was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And in every matter of wisdom and understanding he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters. And Daniel was there until the 1st year of King Cyrus. Nebuchadnezzar's dream. In the 2nd year, his spirit was troubled, and his sleep left him. King commanded magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, and the Chaldeans to tell the king his dreams. "If you do not make known to me the dream, you shall be torn from limb to limb, and your house shall be laid in ruins." The Chaldeans answered the king, "There is not a man on earth who can meet the king's demand." Because of this, the king was angry and very furious, and commanded that all the wise men of Babylon be destroyed. And Daniel went in and requested the king to appoint him a time that he might show the interpretation to the king. God reveals Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Then the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision of the night. Therefore Daniel went into Arioch. "Do not destroy the wise men of Babylon." Arioch brought in Daniel before the king. "No wise men, enchanters, magicians, or astrologers can show to the king the mystery of the king that the king has asked, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries." Daniel interprets the dream. "You saw, O king, the head of the image was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, the middle and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, and its feet of partially iron and partially of clay. A stone struck the image on its feet. Then the iron and the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold all together were broken in pieces. But the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. This was the dream. Now he will tell the king its interpretation. You are the head of gold. Another kingdom inferior to you shall arise after you, and yet a 3rd kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth. And there shall be a 4th kingdom, and as you saw the feet and toes partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, it shall be a divided kingdom but some of the firmness of iron shall be in it. So the kingdom shall be partially strong and partly brittle. And in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, and it shall stand forever. Daniel is promoted. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face. Truly, your God is God of gods. Then the king gave Daniel high honors and many gifts, and made him rule over the whole province of Babylon and chief prefect over all the wise men of Babylon. Daniel made a request of the king, and he appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel remained at the king's court. Nebuchadnezzar's golden image. King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold. He set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon, that when you hear the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music, you are to fall down and worship the golden image. The fiery furnace. Therefore at that time certain Chaldeans came forward and maliciously accused the Jews. But if you do not worship, you shall immediately be cast into the burning fiery furnace. And who is the God who will deliver you out of my hands? Then King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished and rose up in haste. He declared to his counselors, Did we not cast 3 men bound into the fire? True, O king, he answered and said, But I see 4 men unbound walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. The appearance of the 4th is like the son of the gods. The hair of their heads was not singed, their cloaks were not harmed. Therefore I make a decree. Any people, nation, or language that speaks against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be torn limb to limb. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar praises God. It has seemed good to me to show the signs and wonders that the Most High God has done for me. Nebuchadnezzar's second dream. But they could not make known to me its interpretation. At last Daniel came in before me. Tell me the visions of my dream that I saw and their interpretation. The visions of my head as I lay in bed were these. Daniel interprets the second dream. The tree you saw, which grew and became strong, so that its top reached to heaven, it is you. And because the king saw a watcher, a holy one, coming down from heaven and saying, Chop down the tree and destroy it, but leave the stump, that you shall be driven from among men, you shall be made to eat grass like an ox, and you shall be wet with the dew of heaven, and 7 periods of time shall pass over you, till you know that the Most High rules the kingdom. And as it was commanded to leave the stump of the roots of the tree, your kingdom shall be confirmed for you from the time that you know that heaven rules. Nebuchadnezzar's humiliation. While the word was still in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken, and you shall be made to eat grass like an ox. He was driven from among men and ate grass like an ox, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven till his hair grew as long as eagle's feathers, and his nails were like bird's claws. Nebuchadnezzar's restored. At the end of the days, my reason returned to me, and I blessed the Most High and praised and honored him who lives forever. My majesty and splendor returned to me. My counselors and my lords sought to me, and I was established in my kingdom, for all his works are right, and his ways are just, and those who walk in pride he is able to humble.